Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be teaching you guys about subnetting. So subnetting is a way to split up your network into multiple pieces. And there's two different ways of subnetting. There's Classful Subnetting and Classless Subnetting. I'll go over both of them today. I'll get started with the Classful Subnetting first. Okay, Classful Subnetting is when there's A, B, C, D, and E. And within each letter, it represents a range of IP addresses. So A is 0 to 128. B is 0 to 127. B is 127 to 190. 192. 127 to 192. I keep on getting this mess up. 191. And then C is 192 to 224. 223. And finally D 224 to 239 and 240 to 255. Okay. And these numbers represents the first octet of an IP address. So 0 to 127 means all IPs that starts with 0. So 0.0.0.0 to 127.255.255.255. All IP addresses in this range belongs in a Class A subnet. All address from 127 to 191 belongs in Class B, and so on. And what does these subnet mean? What does an actual subnet represents? So in A network, it represents 255. So let me get rid of this. Okay, it represents a subnet mask of 255.0.0.0. And what this means is if the first number of your IP address is the same, then you're on the same network. So if you have an IP address of 10.25.252.222.1 and you have another IP address of 10.251.5.6.7, they will be on the same network because the first number of their IP address, the first octet of their IP address are the same. But if I just change this to like say a 11, then they're not on the same network anymore because the first number of the first octet of their IP address is different. And this is the same for Class B. Class B has a subnet mask of 255.255.0.0. And what this means is the first two octet of your IP address have to be the same. So if you have an IP address of 10.10.5.6.6 and IP address of 10.10.5.5, they will be on the same network because their IP address, the first two octet of their IP address is the same. But if I just change one, then they're on a different network now. And Class C, it's the same thing. It's 255.255.255.0. So what this means is the first three octet of your IP address have to be the same. So 192.12.12.12.1 sorry 192.12.12.13, they will be on the same network. But if I just change one, they're not on the same network anymore. And for class D and E, there's no subnet mask assigned. Like it's like not defined. It's like class D, it's like a multicast addresses, where, and class E, it's like a reserved IP addresses. But classful subnetting, it's not used that much anymore. Most companies, most networks now use classless subnetting, and it follows, the idea is really much the same, but it's much more flexible. So in classless subnetting, there's no A, B, C, D, no subnet mask, but instead we have what's called a CIDR notation. And with CIDR notation, it's you can read it as, so when you have 255 in an IP address, that means all 8 bit of the octet is turned on. That's why it adds up to 255, right? So all 8 bits is turned on. So in classless subnetting, it uses that idea. So if you have a IP address of 192.168.1.1 and then /8, this is called CIDR notation, by the way, and this is how you subnet in classless subnetting. So when you do /8, it means all 8 bit is turned on, which means it's a 255.0.0.0.0 network. So if the first octet of your IP address is the same, you're on the same network. And then 168.8.11/16. And so this will be 255.255 because 16 bits are turned on. And the same idea goes for 192.168.11/24. It will be 255.255.255 because all 24 bits are turned on. And the reason why you would use this method, you would use this method over this, because you can also do something like 192.16.8.11/9. So what this does is it actually segments your network, your IP address even more. Okay, so let's say you're on a /24 network, right? So the first 3 octet of your IP address are the same. That means they're on the same network. And you have 255 IP address in the back that you can use. But generally it's actually like 253 because the last IP address is like reserved for broadcast address, and the first IP address is generally your network ID and like your router or something. So within this network, you can even segment your network even more. So you can do a 192.16.8.11/25. And this will actually split the whole network in half. And how you would interpret this is, let's just say you have so when you have a /24, right? It's 255.255.255.0, and in bits it will be 111.1.1.1.1.1. 111.111.111.111.0. And if you have a /25, you will have something like 255.255.255.128, because there's 25 bits that's turned on, right? And when you turn on the first bit on the right, it's 128. So binary goes like 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1, right? And if you turn the first one on, it's 128. And you will represent this by and then instead of 0 here, you would have 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you have this right here, right? And then let's just say you have an IP address of 192. Let's just say you have IP address of 1.111.0.000.1111. 0.000.000. That's 4 zeros. Okay. So with this, you guys can think of it as just flipping this on. So before this, you have a /24, right? And so the IP address, the host ID, I'm looking at just right here, the host ID will go from 0 to 255. Okay? But now you have this right here. You can just think of this as flipping this on. So when you usually had 0 to 125, you have 0 to 128 now. And then when you have 0 to 128, the rest of it, you split it in half, it will be 128 to 255. So your network will actually be split into two now. So you had a network of /24, right? And then you had this turn on. And you can think of it as turning this on. Like a 0 to 1. And then once you turn it on, the rest of it is, you just connect the rest of it to 255. And so when you, so let's just say you turn the other one on, it will be 192, right? And this will be a /26. Okay? Then this will be turned on. Right? And instead of 0 to 128, it will be 0 to 64 first. Because you guys can think of it as just, this is flipped on first. So once this is flipped on, it's 64, right? So 0 to 64. And after this is flipped on, you flip the other one on. It's like iterating, going through like all the possible combination. And then once you turn this on, it will be 128, right? So it'll be 128. So it'll be, let's put this as 63 and 64 to 128. So you're 127 now. And then once you turn these two on, you will turn these two on together. And that will give you 192. So now you will have a network of 128 to 191. And finally, you will just connect it back to 255. And this will be your network now. And that's how your network will be segmented using classless subnetting. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, you can leave it in a comment.